right, so we're getting ready to do a presentation on packaging and display software, kind of the workflow from start to finish, some really cool projects that Carissa's done.
And we also are going to feature one of our flatbeds over here that you see in the booth. It's going to be the JFX 600. That's what I use to print some of the packaging that we're showcasing here at the booth. And Chris was nice enough. Chris, do you have the little clicker?
Oh, I do have a little clicker. Yeah, let's. So if you'd like to take a seat or come in and join us, we're going to have a fun session here. All right, so rock and roll. I'll introduce Carissa first. So Carissa is my partner in crime. We're both in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and we're about 15 minutes apart. And I've loved this journey with you so far because you do awesome designs inside of Adobe, and you really make our software shine. So,
well, the software is very easy to use. I was intimidated at first. I really was learning a new software. Sometimes it can be cumbersome. But us together and how easy it is to learn the EngView software, it really was easy for us to make custom packaging and get it to the printer and get it finished off fairly easy, especially with me being new to the packaging. It was nice.
Yeah, and so I've been around CNC machines for a long time, over 20 years and all that. I'm new with EngView, first of the year, so I've been kind of drinking from the fire hose, learning packaging, learning all this stuff. It's been a lot of fun. I've learned a ton from you on the, the Adobe Illustrator side. But anyway, let's just jump right into this. So what is our presentation today?
Our presentation is definitely going to be over the JFX 600, which is the printer that we used. And you'll notice that we also have some clear elements on this. That printer has the ability to do white and clear, which gives your packaging some elements that maybe is going to put you over some of your competition. But also, Chris was nice enough to give me a version of the EngView software. There's several different versions of that software that is available for you guys, right?
Yep, so we have like an entry-level package, standard kind of what we call our standard package, and then we have a professional package. A lot of times people fit into standard. You can buy the software, but in this day and age, most people like to subscribe like they do with their Adobe Illustrator, so you can stay up to date, get all our latest releases, and we're always adding to the library, so it's pretty cool. And you'll notice the background here was kind of fun. I threw some die lines right out of the library in the background. All right.
It's not only boxes that we can do, like the stuff we're going to show you here, but you can actually do stand-up displays also. This is also done out of a B flute. This is going to be an E flute. But some of the other stuff, though, that you were using is also the structural stuff. I saw even a chair in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we can do furniture. We can do trade show displays. We can do all kinds of cool stuff. So why do you look at a cool software like this? So we have over 2,000 resizable designs. When you're in Adobe Illustrator, you get really cool graphics tools, but when you add EngView to it, you also get CAD tools, and it gives you some advanced stuff to work with. We can do full 3D presentation, which you'll see. We've got nesting and layout optimization. We integrate right into Adobe Illustrator. We run on the Mac or PC, so really kind of cool. We're going to go over this. I'm not going to touch on the slide very much because you're going to see a lot of this, but basically here's the workflow. You kind of start with a die line and you work your way through. So the first project that we did that you actually see here on the floor, what I like to show is the object on the left is what the 3D model that you actually saw in the software, and the one on the right is a picture of this. They look pretty darn close. And what I'm hearing, especially when people come by the booth, is you don't want to have to make a prototype to show your customer if you don't have to. So if you can show them the real 3D model of what it's going to look like before you ever make one, you know it's going to fold right, all that kind of stuff, that saves you a lot of time and money. And so that's what you get. And by the way, there's a QR code, and we've also got that. If you scan that QR code, then you can actually see this module. We'll go to the next screen here, and we can come back to that. So you start with the library, you kind of scroll through this library, and there's tons of ones. Like there's 500 resizable displays, and so Carissa found this one that she really liked, pulled it in, and then once you bring it in, you can kind of see that there's all these different parametric designs. So you start putting in the different parameters, and everything starts resizing for you right on the fly. So basically, you're like working in Excel almost, redesigning this item. Then what's really slick is if you change any of the material thicknesses on the fly, everything changes for you. All the folds, all the adjustments. And so during the pandemic, for example, you couldn't get a certain material type. So let's say you've got this project all designed, it's all done, and now I can't get any B-flute, and I can only get some other material. Well, with one click of a button, you can see here, it changes everything for you. So
and that's a good point, because B-flute and E-flute is usually standard. But what if they wanted to use something else, like the 3A composite stuff? You don't necessarily have to tell him, call it out by the B-flute and the E-flute name. You can actually put it under a micrometer and put in the thickness of the material that way, rather than having to actually give it a name, which I thought was pretty cool too.
Yeah, and I have a display in my booth that we pre-designed, we got all ready, it was ready to cut when I got here. It's 3 millimeters material. Well, the material available to me was 3.27 millimeters. It wasn't gonna fold up right. With one click, everything can change. I'm in business, I go and print it, cut it, and you can see that display in our booth, so it's pretty cool. So now you take that item, you bring it into Adobe, you see your die lines over there, you got a view of it, and then as you add your artwork, you'll see that all the artwork's laying over. You're working inside of Adobe with all the tools that you know and love, the full power of it. You've just got our cool integration tools in there. I think you found that really useful.
Well, not only is it cool, you can go in there and change it, your layouts also, so it just like where all of your other tools are in Illustrator under the window. When you install EngView, then in that window you'll see an EngView selection, and it has, I think, 5 different options on there.
Yep.
So you've got the 3D view, which is really cool to be able to pull out, but then the layouts are right there also.
Yep.
So if you want to make layouts, you'll see the layouts in the EngView, and then it comes back in. It's pretty easy, actually. It was easier than I expected it to be.
Yeah, because I literally never touched Adobe Illustrator until the beginning of this year, and I'm still having a hard time drawing stick figures. But you can see, like, it takes you a while to normally do all that bleed trimming and everything. It's just a click of a mouse. So over here, you put in what the offset you want is, and it does it for you.
So this says generate offset, the bleed offset. You can put in there 3 millimeters, 6 millimeters.
Whatever you want.
And it just takes all of that and makes the bleed for you, and just made it so much easier.
So we'll dig in a little bit more on this next project. So this project here, once again, on the left there, you see the 3D models, and on the right, you actually see the actual pictures. If you want to scan that QR code, this is a perfect time to do it so you can actually see it. And
we use 2 different materials for this. So we have the E-flute, the smaller E-flute for the outside box. Oh wait, back up one.
Oh.
And then the material that we use for the wrapper, we used 2 different materials that we did.
Yep.
I took one of my the C21S, and I put general formulation silver vinyl on it and printed on that for one, and then we used just regular cardstock for the other one. So, and because you could do what me and him were talking about, you could do 2 or 3 different types of designs for each. Maybe we want a strawberry one, maybe we want a lime one. You can do all of that right there in the EngView software, which was really cool too.
Yeah.
But this one we did. We used cardboard for this one, for the C1S, and I think it was 18 point, and then we used the box material for the outside.
And it came out really good. So same thing, we start out with the library. So we're scrolling through this library, thousands of designs, and then you go and pick the design that you want. And
I'm sorry, I'm going to back.
Nope, no worries.
But I thought, because this is what you guys originally had, right? We decided we didn't want to do 3 because it was going to cost me a lot for the bottle. So I decided, hey, let's change it down to 2. So even though they've got many different packaging designs in here, all of them can be customized, and that's what we did.
Yeah, infinite, and so literally this is one design, but you could have more bottles, you could have less bottles, you could have it bigger, smaller, different material. It just goes on and on. And we use a couple different standards. I mean, obviously you're not going to read these screens, but if you go look it up, there's the ECMA standard, there's the FEFCO standard, and these are industry standards that you can pull that people use all over. Plus we have a whole bunch of other designs that have been added. So it's really cool. She was talking about the different materials. So here's a view here. You can see we had one material type for the folding carton, and we had a different material type for the corrugated box. And then one thing I want to touch on real quick, you'll notice I kind of highlighted this flap on here. And so when you go to the next screen, one of the things that's complicated when you close a lid is you really want that image to be replicated to the other side and easy. Well, we have a tool for that. So what you do is you actually click on that image and you tell it to replicate, and right there, it actually makes a mirrored copy just perfect for you. And so it can be on sides of the boxes, so where the glue tab comes together, it can be on the top, anywhere else. And when you first saw that, you were like,
no, caught my attention in the first place. You had a butterfly on there, which I love butterflies. But in my mind also, there's another project I think I'm going to get him to work with me on for ISA, where with the software, you could also make a hole, right?
Oh yeah.
That is, and then you can actually put artwork on the back of it so that when you look through it, you can see and you know exactly where that is, and it registers out, registers it for you. So that's our next project.
I like it. Yeah, and so the nice thing about this is with our EngView interface, you can create multiple workspaces, and in that you can have one for the front, one for the rear, all that kind of stuff. So we talked a little bit about like how do you get all this stuff together now. So we had designed an Adobe Max. She sent me the label for this, and we designed the bottle in Adobe Max and brought it in as a 3D object so we could see what it was going to look like. And then we put those in the wrappers, and then from the wrappers, we arrayed the wrappers, we put 2 of them, and then we put them in the box. So we knew how everything was going to fit, how it was going to look, all that before we ever produced one, which is really kind of cool. You'll notice up here we can import all kinds of 3D objects. For example, I had a customer that's an electronics supplier, and they were making these heavy resistors, and they wanted a custom insert to hold the resistors to then go in the box. So we can take the resistors, put it in the insert, put it in the box. Everybody can see what they're actually going to get before they ever buy one.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about that shared space, because again, that sending over those proofs to those customers really matter, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So you got to see it on your phone there. Did it pop up? Yep.
Bad service.
Oh, bad service over here. Okay.
Not from you.
But yeah, but if you drop over to our booth, we can show you that and stuff. But it's really kind of cool because you can email that link. You still have that link, so when you move to somewhere else, you'll be able to see it. And yeah, and then you can email it. And then what's nice about that, it's on Amazon Web Services. You'll actually be able to interact with your customer on it. So you can send it to them. They can actually approve, reject, or ask for changes. You get a notification email, and then you can put up there a reply of, okay, give me a couple hours or whatever. They'll get that back. And so you can interact in that space with them, which is really cool. All right, so now the same thing, you'll want to nest these up. And so this was a simple nest, but we can do complex, fully rotational nesting. And it does the same thing where it also bleeds, trims the image and everything, but you get some choices in here, like what's the best optimization. So EngView is going to do all the math and work for you, make it easy, and then you just get a pick and go forward from there. And then if you really want to, you can even manually start adjusting the nest too.
And I also love that it's going to put those finishing dots on there for you.
Yeah, the registration marks, yeah.
Right, not just for the zoom dots, but y'all have quite a few different dots in there and information so that we can ensure that it can go to the cutting and the finishing seamlessly.
Yeah.
It makes the job easy going in and doing all that could be time consuming.
Yeah, and she's right. So you're going to print those fiducials or registration marks right on the sheet. And then what a lot of people want to do is, let's say you're just printing one-sided. So you can print it, the fiducials are on there, you can put it on your CNC machine, you can drill out the holes, flip over the sheet, and that way you can find the registration with your camera and cut it and crease it from the back side, which is really kind of cool.
Well, and I also noticed on the files, it's going to put those creasing lines and the cutting lines on different layers for you already, so you don't have to worry about that either.
Exactly. So everything that comes in, all the cutting is red and all the creasing is green. So it makes it really easy for you. And if you do perforation or all these other things, it's all going to move it on different layers. So here you can see for the wrappers, the folding carton, there's that layout. And then for the boxes and stuff, we just did kind of a basic layout.
And then after the layout's done, all you have to do is just save it out and bring it into Raster Link. For the wrappers, I was using, like I said, that C1S. Well, that sheet size was 40 by 28, so I could do 3 of those, which increased my production on that. And then on the next slide, you'll see this was the flute that we did. Now I was only needing, like a few of these for the show, but we could, on this 4x8 sheet, we could have asked EngView to fill that whole sheet through the nesting, and I just chose to go ahead and do 5. So you can really customize not only your packaging, but for what your need is for production as well.
Yeah, we have a single sheet nesting option. So if you give it your XY dimensions of your sheet, your border, and your gap, we'll fit as many on there as we can fit. And then if you have, like she said earlier, let's say you had a blue one, a pink one, and a white one, you can give priorities to the different ones and actually nest all the different colors on the same sheet too. So it's kind of cool.
It is quite interesting. What we got next? Oh, let's talk about the 600. I believe this is going to be one of the best printers for short run packaging, especially maybe they just need that prototyping, like you said. Because we have that 120 ink that when it bends, it's not going to crack, which is important, especially for the E flute and the B flute, because it's not easy sometimes to get that where it doesn't crack. And so I want to say that I want you to look at the detail on this. The detail on some of our printing, especially with the clear elements we were able to put on it, that is due to the fact that we have a minimum ink drop size of 7 picoliters on that. It's also got the Mimaki ink circulation system, so if you do white, it'll have that circulation system on it. Another thing I want to point out is the sheet size on here, because you can actually do edge to edge 48 by 96, but some of these B flutes and E flutes, they actually standardized come bigger. So you have a bigger bed size on this as well, and of course it's a little bit higher than it's a little brother, the 200. You have 2.36 thickness on that as well.
That's cool.
It's
Yeah.
super fast.
So we have like a whole library of Falcon board and some of that thicker board too. So if you end up printing some sort of piece of furniture or a display, it's going to fit on the printer, no problem. And I'm always blown away at how incredible the art works off this printer. You know.
Well, and you're exactly right. Some of that Falcon board can even be an inch.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
All right. So if you'd like to come by and check out the EngView booth, here's a quick path that you would take to drop over there. We're literally right over, just kind of in that direction. We'd love to see you. And I think the booth's 11097.
Thank you, as always, for being here with me and, playing with the machines for me. We got that next project, though, you promise?
I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.